Long ago, humans walked among the stars. They built colonies, signed treaties, and fought wars. But after great loss, Earth turned inward, closing its gates and falling silent. The galaxy forgot them, calling Saul a broken world. Yet, in secret, Earth listened, learned, and waited. Now the silence is ending. Humanity is ready to rejoin the stars. For most of the galaxy, Earth was only a story. Aliens remembered a time when humans traveled among the stars, but after a great war, they disappeared. Maps showed Sol with a broken circle. Lost. To most, Earth was forgotten, but Earth was not gone. Its skies carried planes, its seas carried ships, and its cities still glowed at night. To passing probes, it looked like a simple world. Yet under oceans, inside mountains, and hidden in asteroids, humanity was not sleeping. It was preparing. Long ago, Earth chose silence. Instead of rushing back to the stars, humans rebuilt their world. They healed, they studied, and most of all, they listened. From secret stations on the moon and receivers under the sea, they caught signals from every corner of the galaxy. They learned alien languages, mapped trade routes, and studied wars. While the galaxy forgot Earth, Earth remembered everything. Whispers sometimes escaped. A smuggler once claimed his ship's clock was corrected by a ghostly signal near Sol. Traders warned each other not to fly too close to the blue planet. Children on alien worlds heard bedtime tales of humans who might return one day. On Earth, teachers still showed students the stars and called the empty places invitations. Scientists built hidden fleets shaped like seeds, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Machines deep below mountains listened for patterns and whispered to themselves, "Not yet, but soon." The galaxy thought Earth was finished. But Earth had only paused. The forgotten homeworld was waiting for the moment it would step forward again. For centuries, Earth was silent, but one day small signals began to stir old fears. At the edges of forgotten colonies, ships reported strange pulses. Old human outposts that had been empty for generations flickered with faint power again. Traders whispered that machines were moving where ruins should have been still. No one could prove it, but the rumors spread faster than light. In alien markets, merchants leaned close and spoke of ghost ships. "I heard a beacon in the old human sector," one said. "I heard their machines still run." Others shook their heads, but their eyes betrayed unease. The Valari hives claimed humanity had returned in secret. The Thyrans said humans never truly left, only hid. The Orovans, glowing in their cloud palaces, warned that such whispers meant change. Scouts tried to test the rumors. A Krovan vessel flew near a forgotten mining moon. It picked up a single pulse. One note, precise, and then silence. Its crew swore the pulse matched no known code. A Thyran drone drifted near the edge of Sol itself. For hours it sent back data. Then suddenly its feed cut. The drone returned, but all its recordings were blank, as if the galaxy itself had been erased around it. Children on alien worlds began playing games called Return of Earth. They pretended to be silent hunters, waiting in the dark until the right moment. Their laughter unsettled their parents. For adults, the whispers were not games. They were warnings. And on Earth, humanity continued to listen. They heard the fear in alien voices, the caution in their counsels. The whispers were not accidents. They were sparks. Earth had begun to test the galaxy, one signal at a time. The silence was ending, not with shouts, but with careful steps. The forgotten homeworld was no longer forgotten. It was beginning to rejoin the stars. While the galaxy argued about rumors, humanity was no longer waiting. Deep beneath oceans and mountains, fleets grew in silence. The world that seemed quiet on the surface was in fact a forge, shaping weapons and ships in secret. Earth had chosen patience, and now that patience was bearing fruit. In hidden shipyards carved into asteroids, engineers built vessels with designs no alien eye had seen. They were small but precise, built not for show but for survival. Some could disappear into the glare of stars. Others could cloak themselves in the shadow of planets. Prototypes slipped into space without announcement, testing engines that left no trail. Every launch was quiet, but every test made humanity stronger. On Earth itself, scientists decoded alien languages with ease. Generations of listening had given them fluency in cultures they had never met. They knew the strengths of empires, but also their weaknesses. They understood the politics of fear, the greed of traders, and the arrogance of rulers who thought humans had been broken forever. With every signal stored, humanity prepared not just for survival, but for influence. Ordinary people did not see the secret fleets, but they felt the change in the air. Teachers reminded children that silence was strength, but one day silence must break. Farmers looked at the stars during long nights and whispered, "Soon." Pilots trained in simulators that pretended to be games. Each generation was readying itself for the day the world would no longer hide. The galaxy still thought Earth was weak, a relic, a world locked in the past. But in truth, Earth was sharpening itself. The silent preparations were almost complete. The next time the galaxy looked toward Sol, it would not see a forgotten homeworld. It would see a people ready to return. The galaxy had nearly forgotten what a human ship looked like. When one finally appeared at a busy trade station, silence swept across the stars. It was not large, not flashy, but its design was unlike anything seen before. Its hull shimmered as if it carried both light and shadow. It did not announce itself with weapons or fleets. It simply arrived. At first, alien crews thought it was a myth come alive. Some froze in fear, others whispered in awe. Then the station's channels opened, and a calm voice spoke in many languages at once. Earth returns. Those two words echoed across trade routes, embassies, and homeworlds. Centuries of silence ended in a single statement. Merchants paused in their deals, soldiers gripped their weapons, and children stared wide-eyed at the screens. The voice did not demand tribute, nor did it ask for permission. It declared presence. Humanity was no longer hiding. The human envoy stepped out into the grand hall of the station. He wore no armor, no crown, only simple clothes. His calm steps showed neither fear nor arrogance. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy looked into human eyes again. What they saw was not weakness, but certainty. Some aliens cheered, believing trade and knowledge would grow. Others whispered warnings, saying the humans had returned too strong, too sure. But no one could deny it anymore. The forgotten world was back. Earth had rejoined the stars. The galaxy could not ignore Earth's return. A grand council was called, the largest in generations. Leaders, envoys, and rulers from countless civilizations gathered in a hall of crystal and light. The chamber was vast enough to hold giants, swarms, and beings of pure energy. At its center stood one human, alone but unshaken. The assembly began with speeches from the old powers. Some demanded that humanity remain under watch, claiming they were too dangerous to be free. Others welcomed them, speaking of new trade and balance. The voices clashed like storms, each empire defending its pride. When the time came, the human envoy stepped forward. He did not raise his voice. He simply spoke with calm strength. We listened. We learned. We return not as children, not as servants, but as equals. We seek peace, but we will not bow. We will walk among you, not behind you. His words echoed across the crystal walls, sharp and steady. The chamber fell silent. Some leaders burned with anger. Some lowered their heads in respect. Some whispered with unease. But no one could dismiss the humans anymore. The silence of centuries had ended, and in its place stood a voice that demanded recognition. The council ended in chaos, but one truth remained. Earth was no longer forgotten. Earth had claimed a seat among the stars. Not all empires accepted Earth's return. Some feared humans, others hated their confidence. Whispers turned into plans, and plans became fleets. A coalition of rival powers sent warships toward the borders of Sol, determined to test whether humanity's strength was real or only words. The galaxy watched closely. Many believed Earth would fall quickly under the weight of so many enemies. But when the fleets entered human space, they found not silence but preparation. Hidden stations awoke, stealth probes revealed their maps, and human ships emerged from the shadows. They were smaller, fewer, but they moved with precision. Every strike was measured, every defense exact. The first battle was swift. Enemy fleets expected panic, but instead faced flawless strategy. Human weapons cut through shields, their probes blinded scanners, and their ships vanished before counterattacks could land. Within days, the coalition was broken. Some ships fled. Others drifted home crippled. The galaxy was stunned. Humanity did not chase or boast. Their envoy's voice came again across the stars. "We do not seek war. But if war is forced upon us, we will endure, and we will answer." The message was calm, but its meaning was sharp. The trial of fire had ended. Earth had been tested, and Earth had survived. The galaxy could no longer doubt. Humanity's place among the stars had been claimed in both silence and strength. The war had been short, but its lesson echoed across the galaxy. Humanity had faced the trial and endured. No longer a rumor, no longer a forgotten world, Earth stood revealed as a power reborn. At first, silence followed the battle. The defeated coalition retreated to their borders, too humiliated to speak. Other empires hesitated, unsure whether to welcome humanity or fear them even more. But slowly, respect began to replace suspicion. Even enemies could not deny what they had seen: patience, strategy, and strength. The Council of Stars met once more. This time, when the human envoy entered, the chamber did not hiss with doubt. Voices argued, yes, but not about whether humanity belonged, only about what role they would play. After centuries of exile, Earth was no longer outside the circle. It was part of it. The envoy's words were simple. "We do not ask to lead. We do not ask to rule. We only ask to walk among you as equals. We return to share, to learn, and to guard the peace we all need." His calm voice filled the chamber. Many leaders bowed their heads. Others gave no reply, but their silence carried recognition. Across trade stations and colonies, ordinary aliens spoke of humans differently. They were no longer ghosts or monsters. They were allies, rivals, neighbors. Children who once played games about the return of Earth now dreamed of traveling there. Merchants imagined new routes. Scholars studied human patience as if it were a weapon sharper than steel. On Earth, people watched the stars with pride. The long silence had ended. The long wait had been worth it. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, not as beggars, but as survivors who refused to be forgotten. The galaxy would remember this day, when Earth rejoined the stars. The trial had come, and humanity endured. No longer forgotten, Earth claimed its seat among the stars, not as rulers, not as servants, but as equals. The silence of centuries was over, and a new dawn began. The galaxy would remember this day, when Earth rejoined the stars.